quite cool today. And yes, I've just come from netball, guys. So you will see I'm in the older netball attire, but I didn't want to be late for this session. So welcome to our third in the series of our Move in May. And today is entitled, Where Am I Moving? Okay, and it's important. Once we reflect on the first two, we're clear about what it is that we want. We're clear about the vision. And then we've got the right people on the bus, the wrong people off the bus, and everyone in the right seats. Remember that from last week? Okay, that was all around, who's around me, making sure we got the right people around us. And now we're going to look at exactly where we're going. And so sometimes what happens is people have, the clarity session that we did, which is, what is the purpose? What's the mission? What's the vision? And then they don't really have the actual actions that need to be taken place in order to get that done. A vision by itself is not a plan. All right, write this down, guys. You should all have your notebook and pen. A vision by itself is not a plan. You must have a plan. You must know where it is that you are going. Okay. And I don't just mean high level in the sense where you know that you're going to have, I know some of you 100,000 a month. I know I'm going to have X amount a month. I know I'm going to be in the big house, the big car, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the specific actions that you must take in order to get to where it is that you want to go. And so where am I going this season? I want you to write that question down. Where am I going in this season? This season could be this month. This season could be this quarter, this year. Where are you going? What is the what's the goal that's going to align with the big vision? What's the goal? So those of you that know me for a long time, you'll know that Nehemiah is my favorite book in the Bible. And Nehemiah was in a place where he was, he wasn't, and this might free somebody today. Have you ever felt like you're not qualified? That where the vision that God's given you is a bit like, whoa, it's a bit scary. The vision that God has given you is a bit like, is that for me or is somebody else? Maybe that's for somebody else. And talk to me in the chat. This is quite interactive, guys. I want you guys to talk to me. And Nehemiah was in the, in the palace as a cupbearer for the king. Now, Nehemiah was not, ladies and gentlemen, he wasn't a prophet. He wasn't a minister. He didn't have a title. He wasn't a prince. He wasn't, he wasn't any of those things. He was a cupbearer. He was a regular guy doing a regular job. And he was comfortable. He had access to the king. He was rolling. He had great time. He was chilling. But God gave him an assignment that made him uncomfortable, that would have made him feel like mighty, me, to go and rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Now, I mean, at that time, you had prophets, you had the big names, but he called Nehemiah. And so what happens is when this big mission comes, you now have to set out a plan. You now have to say to yourself, okay, what am I going to do towards this big mission? Where am I going? And the first thing he did, he went into prayer. I'm going to give you a blueprint, guys. He went into prayer. That was the first thing he did. He prayed. He fasted and he prayed about it. And downloaded in his spirit was first go to the king and seek approval. He went to the king. He got, this is about your network now. Are you guys following this yet? He went to the king. He was around somebody that had the information that could help him on the mission. Are you around somebody that has the answers to what it is that you want? Are you tapping into your network? Are you tapping into the people, the communities that you have available to you to give you the information? So he goes to the king and he says to the king, look, this is what I want to do. I need you to give me some time away from the palace so I can go and rebuild these walls. And the king says, look, I don't want you to go empty-handed, so take some horses, there's some guardsmen, and here's some weapons or whatever, and go. The king is going to give him the resources. Some of you right now probably think, Nikki, the thing that God's put in my life, the resources, I don't know where the resources are going to come from. I don't know where, this is going to happen. But your network, the people around you are going to help you to be able to access the resources. Then he had to create a plan. Then he had to create the plan, guys. And he got together with the people. He had the right people around him, and they began to build the wall. Now, here's what happened during that time. During that time of building the walls, which was impossible. By the way, he did it in 52 days, which again was miraculous. During the time of building the wall, You have the enemies coming to tear the wall down. You have the enemy saying that, who does this guy think he is? What does he think he's doing, attempting to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem? In fact, let us go and destroy it. And then what happened? The distractions came. And so the people that were building the wall with Nehemiah went to Nehemiah and said, hey, Nehemiah, we're going to need to stop building this wall because there's some enemies coming for us. And how many of you know my favorite line, my favorite quote of the entire book of Nehemiah? What did he say to them? He said, not right now, I am building. Not right now, I'm building. Nehemiah knew the blueprint to the wall that he was building, and he was very, very clear on a no distraction type focus. How many of you have ever been distracted when it comes to your mission? This is why accountability is very important. This is why the right people around you. You don't want people around you that's going to come and tell you the problems. You don't want people around you that's going to come and highlight the reasons why we can't get it done. You want people around you that's going to point you into the right way to say, hey, look, this is what we need to get done. This is what the mission is, and we're not going to be distracted by the mission, right? That's what we need. And so looking at this now, we need a plan. Someone write it down. We need a plan. I'm going to give you, this is a high level stuff, guy. I'm going to give you something that has really helped me. Okay. I know I've slipped it in the last few, the last few sessions, but I'm going to really give it to you clearly so you can understand the concept behind it. The first thing I want to teach you guys is something called the 48-hour rule. Okay, write this down on your paper, the 48-hour rule. Now, the 48-hour rule states that if you get this idea, if you get the homework or you get something to do, you tell yourself you're going to do it, and you don't execute that thing, that specific thing within 48 hours of you telling yourself you're going to do it, it's not going to get done. It's not going to get done. The 48-hour rule. Can you execute? Can you do what you say you're going to do within the 48 hours? So you say you're going to watch that or listen to that audio. You say you're going to start reading that book. You say you're going to do the homework from this session. Can you execute it within 48 hours? The 48-hour rule. And you know I like to do a quiz at the end. So please make sure you take your notes. Okay? Now, action is about implementation, guys. Without action, plans, goals, and visions are worthless. Without action, plans, goals, and visions are worthless. You need to make sure you have a plan. Now, there's a difference between a clarity of concept or conceptual clarity and then situational clarity, right? So you have your conceptual clarity, which is, okay, I'm going to build a house. Right? That's conceptual. You've got the concept in your mind. You know you want to build the house. What are you clear about conceptually where it is that you need to go? And talk to me in the chat. Maybe God has laid it on your heart to be a coach. Maybe God has laid it on your heart, to expand your clothing business, Marsha. Maybe God's laid it on your heart to open an estate agent, Charmaine. Maybe God's laid it on your heart to expand your hairline. I don't know if she's on the call today, Ataji. Maybe God has laid it on your heart to collaborate with more musicians, Gary. Whatever the concept is in your mind, you have clarity on where it is that you want to go. As anybody on this call can type in the chat for me, something that you have conceptually, because most people have the concept in their mind. Sometimes we have too many, right? I just want you to pick one. I don't want you to pick 1,000 things. I want you to pick one, and I'm going to teach you about that in a moment, right? So fight for the elderly. There we go. What else? Come on, talk to me in the chat box. You're going to have that conceptual clarity, okay? Most people, when they start figuring out what it is they want to do, they get that clarity on a specific area. Then you want to break it down to situational, which means you know precisely what you need to do to execute. And this is where, this is where you're going to need to be around the right people. This is where you're going to need to network. This is where you're going to need to have the right coach, the mentor, to tell you and to help you navigate to get those specific actions in place, right? Now, here's where we're going to use a tool that I absolutely love, and I've taught you guys this before, which is the success triangle, all right? And if I had it on my computer, I'd pull it up, but I'm not that fancy, okay? So write in the chat for me the success triangle. Now, obviously, a triangle has 3 parts. You have a one side. Let me see if I can use my superbly artistic skills to draw this success triangle for you all. Can you all see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can, or a wave. Can you see my screen, or a 7 in the chat or something? Let me know if you can see. Excellent. So, boom. I'm sure there's a way that we could do this even better. Excellent, right? And you're going to find out why this is just so ironic in a moment when I start to go into this. Right, so, boom. Let me go here. So on this side, we have clarity, okay? Actually, let's delete that. That didn't go out as planned. Hold on. Let's see if we can do this again. Boom. All right, you guys take your notes. So on this side, you have clarity. This side, you have capability. And this side, you have motivation. All right, boom. So this success triangle is going to help us with our plan. It's going to help us, okay, once we've listed out the actions that we need to implement, okay, what it is that we need to do, and I'm going to teach you how to do that in a minute. We're going to use a success triangle to hold ourselves accountable every single day, okay? So the first question is, do I have clarity on what it is that I need to do? Now, clarity is very simple, okay? It is making sure that you understand fully the actions that you need to take. So we're going to do an exercise right now on that. Now, this is called the power of 5, okay? The power of 5. Now, the power of 5, or the big 5 concept, is where you're going to list out 5 things, only 5, okay? Maximum 5, it could be less, 5 things that you can do, okay? The power of 5. Towards that thing that you know that you're supposed to be doing. What are the 5 things? You're going to list those 5 things, okay? So we're going to list 5 things. Now, I don't want you to, you're not going to list things like, remember, this is real specific. So you're not going to list things like stop procrastinating. You're not going to list things like stop watching television, because you really want to be specific with what it is that you want to do. So, for example, does anyone want to be my guinea pig right now? And I'm going to work this success triangle with you, okay? If you want direct support on yours, we're going to work this success triangle together. So just put a 7 in the chat if you want me to pull you. All right. So clarity is knowing exactly what you're going to do. And we're going to use the power of 5 to do that. So we know exactly what we're going to do. List those 5 things. The second thing is capability. Now, capability isn't just do I have the skill? Which skill is a part of it, all right? So that may mean you may need to take a course. You may need to, study something online, or you may need to go on YouTube, or you may need to, upskill yourself or whatever. Skill is very important, but it's not only skill. In capability is also time, okay? Capability is resources. So for example, somebody may say, I'm clear that I need to be on the Zoom at 9 p.m. UK time, but unfortunately, because of the time that it is, I'm at work, so I miss it. That is a capability issue. They're not capable of joining. It's not because they cannot press the button, but it's because they don't have the time. Or it could be the resources. Like, I know that I have to, be on the call, but it's because I don't have a phone, or it's because I didn't have signal, so I wasn't able to log in, right? That's resources, all right? So you want to make sure that you have the time, the skill, the resources. Resources can include money as well, but I'll put it in a separate thing because we all know that, that's important. So capability is around those things, okay? It's very, very important that we assess the capability of the actions that we're going to go through. Now, if I've got absolute clarity on where it is that I'm going and what I need to do, and I'm fully capable. I've got the skill, I've got the time, I've got the resources, I know what I need to do, then the only other reason why it's not happening is motivation. And there are two types of motivation, and we don't have time to go into it fully here, all right? But motivation, you have your internal motivators and your external motivators, right? Now, your internal motivators, they are going to be things like, I don't know, I want to do it for my mom to retire my parents. You're motivated by that. Oh, I'm doing it for my children. I'm doing it to, you know, to be free for generational wealth. And, you know, internal motivators are all about the things that matter to you all day, every day, regardless of where you are, regardless of your situation. These are things that matter to you most. So your why, you would call it, right? But your external motivators, they can change. It depends on your environment. So let's say, for example, I said to every single person, the first person who took a screenshot of this and tagged me in, I would give them a free VIP ticket to my event. You would be motivated to do that because it's the situation that we're in now. That's an external motivator that gets you moving, that gets you moved. Does that make sense? By the way, that's not what I'm doing. That was an example. Right? But tell me in the chat, you guys a little bit quiet. I hope you're taking notes. Put a yes in the chat if that makes sense. Okay. So you want to assess your internal, what are your internal motivators versus your external motivators? Internal motivators won't get you working every single day just like that. Your external motivators working alongside your internal will. So I'll give you an example. I remember when I was in my first network marketing company and I was pushing for the position of chairman, right? And we was going for it. Now I said to myself, I'm going to give myself an external motivator. And in fact, it was Anton's as well. I was like, I'm not going to shave. I mean, until I go chairman. I was P5000 at the time. And I was like, yo, I need to push. And I've got hairy armpits, legs are hairy. I mean, everyone was hairy. And Anton was like, Jesus, are we not a chairman yet? Like, hurry up, go chairman. Like, I was motivated. In fact, when I hit it wasn't even the fact that we hit it. I was like, yeah, I can shave again. So you can give yourself, I used to give myself external motivators, like I'm not going to eat until I've made 10 calls. You remember that, Sabrina, I see you laughing, right? So you can give yourself external motivators. Don't give yourself a pat on the back for not doing what you say you're going to do, but motivate yourself. Give yourself almost, like some consequences for why you're not doing it. I want you to remember this word as well. And this is another concept that I'm going to tell you. You guys taking this, I'm going to clear this off. You can go ahead and screenshot this, okay? I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I want to give you enough stuff that you can go away and take. So the Big Five concept, okay? The Big Five concept is a tool that you're going to use to be able to really get yourself focused, okay? And you don't want to overwhelm yourself with so much stuff. So it's really about focus. So who said they wanted me to test out this triangle, the success triangle on them? Is there anybody on here that wants me to test it on them? Put a me inside the chat and I'll see if I can pull you up. I know we've got probably about 15 minutes left, so I want to get through as much as we can before I drop this homework for you. All right, so whilst you guys are deliberating that, I'm going to give you another rule as well, which is going to help you to eliminate some of the distractions that come up. It's something that I call the sundown rule, okay? Sundown rule. And it means that you are effective, but you're not stuck to your phone. So if a message is received after a certain time, you know that you're going to deal with that before a certain time the next day. All right. I used to be on my phone 24/7, guys. It used to be so I used to be addicted to just, sending out the messages constantly because I wanted people to be like, oh my God, you're so efficient. Da, da, da. And yes, being efficient is important, making sure that, you're responsive, but you have to also make sure that you are not doing things that are going to distract you, okay? You've got to set yourself a sundown rule. So that basically means you say to yourself, these are the times when I'm going to be on my phone responding to messages. You know, otherwise you can be in the realm of WhatsApp. How many of you could be in the realm of WhatsApp or Instagram just all day, every day, and you realize you haven't done your power of 5. You haven't done the things that you said you were going to do. So you really want to make sure that you have this sundown rule. Okay, mine is I don't answer my phone before midday. That's me. I'm gonna make sure that before midday, I'm doing my meditation, I'm doing my prayers. You know, I'm spending time with the Holy Spirit. I'm speaking to my mentor before I decide to pour into the rest of the world. And then from midday onwards, then I'll, you know, I've got my set routine and how I do things. Okay, so it's very important that you make sure that you're not distracted by things that are not going to get you where you need to be. And that's a whole nother session, you know, on time management and time blocking and stuff. I've taught some of you that before. But yes, very, very important. And then we have the capability situation. What do you need to work on when it comes to improving your capability? Maybe it's timekeeping. Maybe it is, you know, if you say to yourself, I'm going to do an Instagram live every single day, and you at 7 p.m. but every day you're working till late and you're on the bus at 7, you know that Instagram live isn't going to get done. So instead of just keeping it as it is, why not change it and say, well, hey, look, I'm going to do that live at 8 p.m. because I know I'll be home by then. And that's going to give you the capability to do it. And what some people do is they keep things broken without evaluating them. Capability could also be your resources, the people around you, okay? The people around you, are they actually helping you to get to where it is that you're going? Do you have a coach, a mentor? Are you around the right people? Are you networking? Okay, this is very, very important because the people around you, and I know we've mentioned, so you guys have, and I'm hitting this because so many of you have said, I realize my circle is smaller. Well, guess what are you doing? Maybe that could be one of your power of 5. What are you doing to make sure that you are now attracting, okay, and positioning yourself to meet new and good people? Here's one of the things I did. I changed my affirmation and I said, good people are coming into my life. Honest, hardworking people are coming into my life. People that will pour in as well as me being able to pour into. People that are not going to be jealous, not going to be hating, but are going to be a positive impact in my life. I changed my affirmation because that's what I wanted. And then for capability, I said, I'm going to stop saying no to events. I'm going to start putting myself in the right events. I'm going to start putting myself around the right people. I'm going to start studying people. How do you improve your skill? Yes, you can do courses, but do you know YouTube is free? You can go on there and find people that are in the area of expertise that you want to be on. If you're in sales in any shape or form and you want to improve your sales, do you know you can go on YouTube and just type top sellers? You can type how to attract high net worth people in my life. You can sit and whatever it is that you actually want to do, you can type that on YouTube and find somebody talking about it on in a video. That's how you improve your capability. That's how you get yourself in. And if you're really serious about capability, you're going to find yourself a really good coach, a really good mentor who is going to mentor the phones out of you and pull out that success whether you like it or not. And that's what I'm so grateful that I finally found. It took me a long time to find it. And that mentor has been able to really guide me and push me into who it is that I know that I'm called to be. So capability is very, very important. It's not just about time. It's not just about skill. You have to take ownership. All right. Now, here's the thing, guys. I want you to write this down. Tofu. And no, Charmaine, it's not for vegans. TOFU. It stands for take ownership and follow up. You have to take ownership and follow up. Tofu. Take ownership and follow up. Are you taking ownership of what it is that you need to do? And are you following up about it? Are you checking on it? Are you looking to see, did I do this? Did I do this well? What went well? What didn't? And I don't have time to go through the more, better, different, less with you, but you guys should know it if you've been with me before. If you haven't, I'll see if we have time at the end to go through the more, better, different, less. Right, I'm going to wipe this out if you haven't done a screenshot already, all right, or a little video for those of you that want to do the old doodah on Instagram. Go ahead and take it now. And I'm going to give you, you know, I'm giving you a few concepts now. So we've got the Big 5 concept. We also have the sundown rule. We also have this amazing success triangle. We've got tofu, take ownership and follow up. Task clarification is going to go into your clarity section, and that's around conceptual and, of course, your situational. Okay. I'm going to pick somebody. Who wants me to go through it with them? You don't have to speak. I just want to know. You can type it in the chat. I just want to know, what is the high level vision? What's the vision? And then we can break down the clarity part, capability, motivation. Okay. Somebody go in the chat. If you've got a goal or something you want to achieve, just type it in the chat box and we'll go with that. I think we'll go with Abby, because Abby said helping the elderly. Okay, so Abby said helping the elderly, right? And so we know that Abby's goal is to help the elderly. Now, in order to be clear, we need to now help Abby. Okay, I want you to type in the chat with us. Type in the chat some of the things Abby could do to help the elderly. You guys go for it in the chat. And we're going to pull out the top 5 things from the list that we all create together. How can Abby help the elderly? She knows that God has called her to it. She knows that that's her mission. That's what she's been born to do. And so now we need to really list a power of 5 things that Abby could do in order to really help the elderly. So we have deliver food. So she could actually, cook some food and be strategic about delivering to the elderly, find out the specific help needed, visit their homes in nursing homes. She could clean, help them when it comes to cleaning, maybe listen to them if they need someone to talk to, arrange people to visit them, gardeners, be an advocate, taking them shopping, take them out for a walk, right? So we have a whole list of stuff: hairdressing, arrange people to call to speak to them. So now, Abby, you've got a range of stuff there that we've all come up with together for you to be able to help the elderly. Now, the first thing for me is, do you have access to the elderly? Do you know where to find them? So maybe it will be looking at charities, maybe looking online, looking at your local area to see where the help is actually needed. That could be the first thing that you do, because you need to find them before you can do anything else. Right? Once you found them, then you set up a plan in your mind to say, look, I'm going to do this one thing for the elderly, which is maybe, go and do their hair, or maybe go and cook for them, or just be a confidant and speak with them so they have somebody to speak to. And then you may say, I'm going to do that once a week. Okay. And then you may say, so you're going to create that plan, right? Does that help? And then it's capability. Now Abby needs to make sure she's capable for it. So she may speak to wherever she's going to make sure she's got, maybe they want a CRB check to make sure that she's, she's a good person. Maybe she needs to look at her time schedule at work to plan exactly when she's going to do this. Maybe she needs to upskill herself and make sure that she's good at speaking with the elderly, and maybe Googling to find out what are the topics to avoid when speaking to the elderly, right? So you're really going to pull out that capability issue to make sure you have the time, the skill, the resources to be able to get there, know where you're going, etc. It may even be something to look for somebody online who is already doing it. So who currently looks after the elderly? What do they do online? How do they do things? And study them like crazy, right? And then you have motivation. Then you're going to motivate yourself. Well, what's going to get you to take those 2 actions? Maybe set up an alarm on your phone. That could do it. Maybe put an external motivator in place for yourself. Maybe, because your internal motivator is there already. You love the elderly. You really want to do it. So now set some external motivators. Set some deadlines for yourself. Say to yourself, right, by the end of this week, I want to get one of those things done. Okay, if I don't get it done, I'm not going to do this. By the end of this, does that make sense? Put a yes or yes in the chat. I'm flying through it, guys. We don't have time to go into it in too much depth and details. But I hope you guys get the drift of what I'm saying. Let me know if this is making sense for you. Now, you may not want to help the elderly, but I want you to think about how you're able to do this for yourself. How are you able to pull out this for yourself? Now, for example, if Abby wanted to open her own home, her own elderly home, then the capability money is going to come up, and then she's going to need to think about where she's going to get money from. What's the plan to get the money to be able to do that thing? What's the plan to be able to attract the income that she needs to be able to do that thing? And that's where you now start to go coach, mentorship, other streams of income and all that types of stuff, right? Does that make sense, guys? Let me know, right? So I'm going to wipe this out. So we've got this, okay? You guys have got this. Just put a 7 in the chat if you've done a screenshot, boomerang or whatever, so I can get rid of it. Put a 7 in, let me know. Excellent, 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 excellent. Right, so how do we clear this? Boom, clear, right? Now, Oh, we're running out of time. Okay, boom. So let's see if we can, I don't know if I can do this. Right, some of you have already got this already, but if you haven't, you're going to draw this on an A4 bit of paper. You're going to have a bit of paper and you're going to divide it into 4 pieces, okay? Just like this, right? And in the first box, I really should have used the text for this. You're going to have an M. In the second box, you're going to have a B. In the third box, you're going to have a D. And in the last box, you're going to have an L, okay? Now, the M stands for more. The B stands for better. The D stands for different. And the L stands for less. Now, if you really want to get to where you want to get to, you're going to have to ask yourself these 4 questions every single week. What is working that I need to do more of? Someone type more in the chat. What is working that I need to do more of? Okay. This could be, maybe you're showing up to these sessions, so you need to make sure you keep showing up. Maybe it is, you know, what's working is when you do make your sales calls, you actually get good conversations out of them. Maybe what else? What are you doing right now that's working? Come on, type in the chat box for me. What are you really good at? Okay, what are you doing right now that you're really good at? I know, Marsha, you're good at making your dresses. That is working. Customers are liking your dresses. Okay, what are you really good at? What is really working for you right now? Find something that when you do it, it works. Okay, when you do it, it works. Kirsty says planning. I'm really good at planning. When I'm organizing my week, when I actually organize the week, I get things done. I get my week organized. Boom. What else, guys? Okay, what are you good at doing? Don't overestimate. What if, doesn't mean that you do it all the time, but when you do it, it works. When once you get your head down, like for me, you know, when I'm in the zone, when I know I'm in the zone and I'm promoting and I'm doing something, I know when I'm doing it, it works, right? So I can see you guys putting that all in. Excellent. Now, here's the next thing. What do you need to do better at? What's something that you know it works, but I need to improve my skill on it? Okay, so better. So it could be making phone calls. I got to be better at it. I got to be more confident on it. I got to be more, you know, I've got to do it, but I got to do it with a better skill factor to it. So more means you're doing it well. You just need to do more of it. Okay. Better means that you know it works, but you've got to improve your skill. Maybe it could be public speaking. Maybe it could be your sales pitch. Maybe it could be attracting high-level clients. Maybe it could be, what do you need to do better? Find in the chat box for me, and I want you to type that in the chat. Something specific that you know, if only I got better at this, I know this would unlock you know, something that I know is going to, you know, pay dividends for me. And this is where you need to study people that have got the results that you desire. Get yourself in the right rooms. Be around people that are doing it well. What do you need to do better? Okay. Could be social media. Okay. I see prospecting, presenting. It could be get better at, I don't know, anything. Okay. I see networking. I see marketing, right? What do I need to do better at? Okay, different, okay? And so better could also be when you're in the room, do you show up, right? This is one thing I was saying to you guys earlier. I never enter a room where I'm not remembered, okay? It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter if it's business, personal, the school gates. When they see me, they see me. When I show up at Netball, they see me. When I'm on a Zoom, you're not going to know that I wasn't there because I'm going to make sure that I'm remembered. I'm going to be typing in the chat. My energy in the chat will mean that you're going to see me. When you show up, do you show up in a room where you're going to be remembered, or are you easily forgotten? Okay, that could be your different. So instead of going into a room quiet, okay, instead of shying away in the background, by the way, shy people don't get paid. You have to find a way to be seen and not be scared to, you know, to show up and be who it is that God has called you to be. So the different, what do you need to do different? Something that's not working. Have you ever invited people to something via text? like I had multiple conversations. People were like, Nikki, I've invited 100 people. Well, how did you do that? I sent them a copy and paste message. Well, guess what? They don't work. So what do you have to do different? Maybe it's picking up the phone. Maybe it's speaking face to face. Maybe it is arranging, a dinner. Maybe it's a coffee morning. Like, what do you have to do different to get a different result? Because if an action that you're doing isn't working, it may mean that that doesn't work. It may mean you may have to come up with something different. Okay, sitting down, getting fat, for me, I needed to do something different. All right, so I decided that I'm doing netball, I'm getting myself active, I'm just taking up a health challenge. I'm starting a health challenge in June, so if anyone wants to be a part of that, let me know. All right, but I knew I needed to do different. I didn't like the way my belly was looking, and so the eating and the sitting weren't working. What do you need to do different? I see different social media. Okay, it could be that the pictures that you're posting isn't right. Maybe you need professional pictures. Maybe you need to update your wardrobe. Maybe there's so many things. I remember when I was in my old house, I was doing all these lives, and it's only when my computer broke and I moved to my old house and I decided to treat myself with a new PC, and my husband bought me a ring light for my birthday. You see how these things go? He bought me a ring light. And it's only when I look back on the old videos did I realize that I was in the dark. Hear this? Sometimes you don't even know you're in the dark until you get in the light. That's a word for someone. I didn't even. So when if you're in sales on this call and you're attempting to sell to somebody and they don't buy, sometimes people don't even know they're in the dark until you show them the light. I didn't know I was I was happy doing the Zooms in that dark laptop in the dark room until I had the ring light. I was like, yo, this is different. I was presenting in the dark the whole time. So what do you need to do different? It might mean that you may need to upgrade your tools. It might mean you need to upgrade your facilities. And then here's the big one, guys. The L is for less. What do you have to do less of? Because if you're going to do more, better, different, you're going to need to reduce some things. It may be, less Netflix and chilling, less talking on the phone to non-productive people, less thinking. Believe it or not, some of you think so much, it's taken away from your activity. Sometimes you have an idea and you're thinking 10 steps down the line. Execute. Less negative self-talk. Stop telling yourself you're not good. What do you need to do less of? Less waiting for someone to give you the okay that you can do it, and just do it. So here's what I want you guys to do today in order to really understand where you're moving to and to start to implement these actions. I'm gonna give you, again, 2 sets of homework. I want you to get yourself into a muscle of doing the more, better, different, less, okay? And I also want you to have a look at your success triangle and start to write down your power of 5. I want you to write down what you need to do to be more, to increase your capability, and also what you need to do to motivate yourself, particularly the external motivators. Now, here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to be asking you guys to come on next week and to share with me. So come prepared, all right, on next week's session so we can really do this. And I want you to understand this about success triangle. You guys taking this, I'm going to, this is pretty straightforward, more, better, different, less. I'm going to clean this off. But when it comes to the success triangle, I want you to understand it's a triangle for a reason, okay? A triangle has 3 sides. They're all connected. If you are clear, if you don't have clarity, you could be all the better, you could be all capable, you could be motivated, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to work. You're not going to have the success. And if you have clarity, but you don't have the capability, it's not going to work. And you could be clear all day, capable all day, but if you're not motivated, it's not going to work. All 3 work together in order to make the success. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at your success triangle for me and ask yourself the question, am I clear? Do I have absolute clarity? And if you have clarity, ask yourself, is it the capability? Where do I need to grow? What is it that I need to do? And then is it my motivation? Am I motivated? But motivation by itself isn't going to do it. You could be a motivated fool. Do you know that? I've been there. You can actually be a motivated fool. Have you seen a motivated fool before? I have. Let me give an example of a motivated fool. Somebody who's so excited they post 100 times on their social media and it's just loads of just crazy pictures and it gets like 1 like or 0 likes and they are just doing that for years. And I'm like, who is your coach? Why are they not telling you to stop posting that stuff? Are you speaking to your coach? Because you are a motivated fool. Like, you are motivated. You're posting. God bless you. Motivation is great, but without the clarity and the capability, you will just be a motivated fool. And guys, I don't want none of us to be motivated fools. Come on now. I want you to all say it with me. Right. Okay, cool. So any questions? Are we all like fired up right now before we just close out this call with our fabulous quiz that I'm going to do for you guys, because I know you guys love the quizzes. How are we all feeling? Are we motivated? Are we clear, capable, motivated? Are we, paying attention to the chats? Are we taking notes on today's session? Let me know. And we are now going to go into my favorite part of this session. You guys all know your homework, so I'm going to stop the recording. Boom.